the tax issues and stuff. But the bottom line is that this has been rough on seniors, as you know, and the sooner we get out of this, the better off we are. And for the life of me, I can't understand why we're not better off right now, other than because there has been all the money necessary to do all the things we've said. It's already been allocated or approved within our budgets, and the idea that we have to continue to have people dying is just reprehensible. So that's one issue. What's going to happen after this? Well, I think from the right, there's going to be a sense that we have no money, and they're going to want to start to look to make cuts. I don't think they should make any cuts in Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security. As you may know, I'm a beneficiary of Social Security, and really appreciate the ability to have that as a backup if I needed it. And then the other side of it is how do we get there? And we're going to be borrowing somewhere around $5 trillion. And that's about a little less than a quarter of our current deficit. Although it's at low interest rates, it's still on the books as a deficit, and it will impact, I think, future budgets. I don't think so much this budget that we're working through right now. That's our goal, is not to have it affect it. But the bottom line is that there will be a movement to do that. And because they've always, as you know, been looking at stabilizing or freezing or whatever they come up with for Social Security, and I just don't. I feel that it's necessary for us to look for somewhere else. So if you want to ask me questions on particular issues, that's fine. But I can tell you this, that I've checked recently, and I have a 100% voting record on all the issues pertaining to Medicare and to Social Security.
I thank you. Yes, we really do appreciate that. I do have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. The
Sure.
HEROES Act, I know that it's gone over to the Senate, and they are really going after putting things in that we don't want, and they're going after the payroll deductions, cutting that back, and that's really going to hurt Social Security and the funding of Social Security. So what do you think is going to happen with that? And could you please make sure that that does not happen, because it's really going to hurt us?
I don't think that's going to be able to go through the House at all. There's too many of us that understand what the reasoning there is. And so I don't know why at this point that you would start to go in the wrong direction. And the wrong direction is anything that destabilizes our economy, and doing that would destabilize the ability of seniors now and in the future to be able to have the resources they need to keep the economy going and their lives going. So I don't think that'll have any traction. It doesn't with me. I don't think it has any traction with our leadership. And I don't think they'll walk away from the table. So we won't have to vote on it probably, because I can't imagine the speaker walking away from the table with that on there.
I hope not. Thank you so much, Congressman. Also, how about the stimulus? How's that looking, and what's it going to look like, do you think?
Well, the stimulus, which part of the stimulus do you mean? The $1,200 or the unemployment part, or the employment for businesses? I mean, there's a number of different stimulus factors.
Well, for seniors is the $1,200.
Right. Okay. So I think we both are in agreement. Both parties are in agreement on that. I think it's good for both seniors and the economy and struggling families as we move forward. And once we gave it out before, and we didn't have any problems with that, our economy hasn't gotten that much better, and people have a tremendous amount of struggles that go on here, and we just, if we want to do stuff like that, it's a time to do it in regular session and not during a national emergency.
And do
I mean,
you see
not
that?
ever.
Yeah, you don't see that happening right away, or will that be part of the HEROES Act, or if it's passed, will that be in there?
I think it will. I think it will be. I don't know if there's a HEROES Act or CARES 2 is what it probably will end up being, one or the other. But whatever they call it, it should have the $1,200 in there.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone that has any other questions or anything? Okay.
To unmute your computer, just hover your mouse over the screen, a little bar will pop up, and then just press that microphone button to unmute yourself.
Okay. There, Kay Davis has a question for you. Unmute yourself. Sure. There.
You're still muted, Kay. You need to press that hover your mouse. A bar will pop up on the bottom, and then there's three icons in the middle. There you go.
Okay. I've been getting a lot of emails about, quote, the Trust Act. Could you explain that, please?
Well, it's a process that it's a bill that identifies that there's going to be a larger budget deficit, and how do we go and protect Social Security and Medicare, and where does that come from, and what's the end result? I know from my position, I didn't sign on to the bill. I signed on to a letter to make sure everybody knows that, but I didn't sign on to the bill because as the bill was drafted, which it wasn't back then, now we have a pandemic, and we need to address that. We needed to address where we're going to find the revenues from to keep Social Security and Medicare stable, and that's my intent. But the idea is that you go through commissions, every one of them voted on by the body. Those commissions would report back to the body, the House and the Senate, with recommendations, and then it would have to go through the normal process for any other bill. So that would be the process that comes forward if it would be enacted into the law.
So I'm just pulling an email up from an organization called Social Security Works, and it says the Trust Act is a devious ploy to dismantle Medicare as we know it by creating a closed-door process to fast-track benefit cuts. But what you're saying is that once it comes out of this committee, then it has to go through the usual process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's nothing going to be done with Social Security and Medicare that does not have to go through that process. That's just the law. So it has to go through that process. I don't know where the closed hearing concept came from. They want to have hearings, and any hearing should have the ability to have experts testify before the body or the committee. So I don't understand that side of the argument. I know there's fear, and there's fear that somebody would come back and say we need to freeze or cut or whatever. But I think that it's mostly based on what they could do versus what they would be allowed to do. I mean, we don't, other than the Intelligence Committee and one other, we don't have those kinds of behind the door closed things. Negotiations are going to happen next week, and there's going to be 8 people in the room to bring forward the bills, but they still have to come before the Congress.
Thank you. Appreciate
this
that.
This is Sally on the line. If you'd like me to explain a little further on the commissions, I'm happy to do that as well, Kay.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, so I'm Sally with Congressman's Chief of Staff. I'm Congressman O'Halloran's Chief of Staff, and we've received a lot of questions about this lately. So the Trust Act is a bill that would, as Congressman O'Halloran said, create bipartisan commissions in the House. So the commissions would have both Democrats and Republicans on it, and they would study proposals and put forth proposals to the House on how to shore up these programs, including Social Security and Medicare. Once they put these proposals out, those proposals still have to go through the committees of jurisdiction. So the Committee of Ways and Means would still have to take those proposals and consider them. And then those proposals, if they make it out of committee, would go to the House floor and the Senate floor, of course, to receive debate and receive a vote. Now, these proposals do go through an expedited process under the Trust Act, but they are not secret. They would be made public so people could see them. And again, it would be a bipartisan process. Now, there is a lot of fear since Senator Romney in the Senate, along with some other Republicans, introduced the bill. There is fear that if we were in a world where we had a Republican House, a Republican Senate, and a White House, they could put through cuts to these programs. But that is something that, would be, it'd still have to be debated and still would have to get kicked out of Congress and signed into law. So I think the fear around the Trust Act makes sense if we have Republicans controlling Washington. But as long as Congress people like Mr. O'Halloran and others don't want these programs cut, we don't foresee that happening. So just to provide some extra clarity there, because I know these issues kind of get sticky and can be confusing.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Is there any other questions?
Sandra, this is Henry.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a comment on that Trust Act. You hear every day from medical experts about people 65 and over being more vulnerable. And of course, all these they qualify for Medicare. And now is a time where we can really tell the importance of Medicare with the people of 65 and over, knowing that they have the health care through Medicare. And not only that, but the hospitals are assured that they would get payment from people on Medicare. So it's not just the people that benefit for it. There's the hospitals and all the medical fields are benefiting from all this. Even these people that not have pre-existing conditions, they're getting the virus and they're having to use Medicare more than they have before. So it is really important for us. And it also points out that there's a lot of conversations about lowering prescription prices. And now is the time to realize and log to see the importance of having to do that, because the costs through Medicare, they're going to be very high in the near future until this year, till the virus goes away. Hopefully. Thank you.
Just thank you. Just to comment a little bit, there's already been a bill that was sent over to the Senate. Last year. No, at the beginning of this year, and that bill is still sitting on Leader McConnell's desk. They have refused to hear the bill even and put it through committee. So they have their own program that they want to put forward. I haven't seen anything, but the idea that we wouldn't do something about prescription drugs is just ridiculous. To the second issue, we have in the bill, in the HEROES Act, the current bill, there is, if somebody got COVID, we would pay for your testing, pay for any follow-up that was done, pay for all your hospitalization, and so that's all covered for every American.
Oh, that's wonderful. We just now need to have them pass it, right?
The Senate has to, they put this bill forward at the beginning of the week, and they don't have the votes over there to put the bill on the floor.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Congressman. Is there any other? Oh.
Some people don't want to vote for it because there's too much money in it, and they're going to have to talk to the House, and we believe that this is an opportunity to make sure we have our citizens in healthy positions when this pandemic ends. And some are upset with some of the policy in it. And by the way, they want to put the Trust Act into the larger bill if we negotiate it. And I don't see that happening at all.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. And any other questions for the Congressman? Okay, well, I want to again thank everyone and for the Congressman to be here to talk to us. I really do appreciate it. And we at the Alliance know that you are a strong supporter of, a strong supporter of seniors. My phone here. And I thank you for taking time to talk to us, Congressman, and we really do appreciate it. And I want to also thank everyone for joining us this morning on this very important topic of, seniors and what's happening to us. That's got to be my daughter worrying about me. So again, I thank everyone for being
checking up on you.
Have a good day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hydrated, please.
Please, yes.
Have a good day.
Same for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.